I saw my wife was packing her bags early morning. Alone. With a calm I had never seen at this hour, she folded clothes, stacked shoes, and neatly tucked away her essentials. I rubbed my eyes and blinked, hoping I was still dreaming. "Are we going somewhere?" I asked, my voice cautious, trying to mask the unease coiling in my chest. She looked up, a slow smirk curling her lips. "Not you," she said lightly, almost as if this was a casual piece of news. "I'm going to the Maldives with my ex. Just friends." For a moment, the words didn't sink in. I wanted to laugh, to think it was a joke, but the seriousness in her eyes told me it wasn't. My hands shook slightly, but I forced myself to remain still, my mind spinning. "Just friends," I echoed, my voice cracking slightly. "You're serious?" She shrugged, tossing a scarf into her bag. "I've been talking to him. He invited me. It's harmless. Relax." I felt a cold weight settle in my stomach. I had suspected something for a while, little hints that didn't add up, late nights, secretive phone calls, unexplained absences, but I had never imagined this. Never in my worst nightmares. And yet, here it was, staring me in the face like a cruel joke. I swallowed hard. "Why are you telling me this now?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She hesitated, then said, "Because I know you'll try to stop me if I lie." Her tone was almost gleeful, and that made it worse. It was like she was testing me, daring me to react. I wanted to scream, to confront her, to demand explanations, but instead I walked out of the bedroom quietly. I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of a scene. I needed a plan. I needed control. I pulled out my phone and typed a simple message. "She's going to the Maldives with him. Just friends." I hit send before I could second-guess myself. The reply came almost instantly. Asterisk. "Wonderful." Asterisk. I froze, staring at the screen. Wonderful. Was that sarcasm? Was it genuine? I didn't care. In that moment I realized something. The situation was spiraling, but I had a choice. I could let it destroy me, or I could reclaim my power. Hours passed. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Calls, messages, snaps from her. Each one more desperate than the last. She tried to manipulate, to explain, to gaslight. "It's not what you think. It's just a holiday. We're just friends." Her words blurred together, but I could hear the panic beneath them. The mask she had worn for so long was slipping. I didn't respond. I let her messages go unanswered. I watched from a distance as the carefully constructed illusion of her carefree, confident life started to crumble. She called me again and again, each time leaving longer, more pleading messages. I could hear the fear in her voice, the realization that the game was over. Finally, late afternoon, I called her. My hands were steady now. My voice calm. "I hope you find the clarity you're looking for," I said simply. No anger. No tears. Just quiet firmness. There was silence on the other end. Then her voice, trembling, almost broken. I don't understand. Why are you so calm?" "Because I'm done," I said. "I'm done being part of your lies." I hung up before she could reply. I didn't need her explanations. I didn't need apologies. The truth was clear. I had protected myself. I had stood tall when she tried to humiliate me. And in that I found power. Weeks passed. I went through the motions of life, heavy-hearted but resolute. I focused on work, on friends, on hobbies I had abandoned. I started exercising, running through empty streets at dawn, feeling the cold air fill my lungs. Each step was a reminder that I was alive, that I was still in control of my life. I remembered the early days of our marriage, the laughter, the promises. I remembered how I had fallen for her smile, her warmth, the way she could light up a room. Those memories were bittersweet now. They reminded me that love is fragile, that trust is precious, and that betrayal cuts the deepest when it comes from the one you love most. One evening I received a call from a mutual friend. They had spoken to her ex's wife. She had found out everything. Their plans were in ruins. I didn't feel joy or schadenfreude. I felt calm. I had already won in the ways that mattered. I was free. Nights were the hardest. I would lie awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying conversations, imagining confrontations, wondering where it had all gone wrong. But gradually, the anger softened, replaced by a quiet understanding. I realized that her betrayal wasn't a reflection of my worth. It was a reflection of her choices. And I didn't need to carry the weight of her mistakes. I began to travel alone, first small trips, then longer journeys. I visited places I had always wanted to see, savoring the freedom that came with being unburdened. I wrote in journals, documenting not just my experiences but my emotions, my healing. I met new people, forged new connections, and slowly I started to laugh again. Not the hollow laughter of pretense, but genuine, unrestrained joy. One evening, sitting by a quiet lake during a solo trip, I watched the sun set in hues of orange and purple. I felt a sense of peace I hadn't known in years. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the sleepless nights, they were all behind me. I had reclaimed my life, my dignity, and my future. Sometimes, the perfect ending isn't about revenge or punishment. It's about standing up when others try to knock you down, about protecting your heart, and about choosing yourself when someone else chooses to betray you. Months later, I realized that I had grown stronger, wiser, more resilient. I had learned to love myself in ways I had never done before. I had discovered that happiness isn't something someone else gives you. It's something you create. And in that creation, I found freedom, strength, and a profound sense of peace. I returned home one evening, to the same house that had once felt suffocating. Now it felt like mine again. I walked through the rooms, touched familiar furniture, breathed in the quiet. For the first time in years I felt whole. The past no longer haunted me. The betrayal no longer defined me. I was free. And as I sat down with a glass of wine, watching the sunset from my own living room, I understood the ultimate truth. The perfect ending is not about making someone else pay. It's about finding peace, reclaiming your life, and discovering that the most important person you can ever be loyal to is yourself. Because sometimes the most powerful act of love is not forgiving someone who hurt you. It's forgiving yourself for thinking you needed them to be whole. And in that forgiveness, in that reclamation, you finally find a freedom that no betrayal can ever take away.